In East Africa, two lands, South Sudan and Somaliland, are awakening to the promise of oil. Beneath their soil lies crude oil, a resource that can transform nations. South Sudan, young and scarred by conflict, already taps vast reserves. Somaliland, stable but unrecognized, stands on the brink of its own oil era. Both are now players in a high-stakes contest for energy and influence. Oil offers a path to prosperity, but also brings risk, conflict, environmental harm, and dependency. South Sudan's oil has been both a blessing and a curse, fueling hope and strife. Somaliland watches, hoping to avoid the same pitfalls as it eyes its own potential boom. The two are linked by ambition and resource, yet divided by history and circumstance. South Sudan is an established producer, but hampered by internal strife and reliance on neighbors. Somaliland offers stability and a strategic coastline, but lacks international recognition. Their competition is about more than oil. It's about who can build a sustainable future. South Sudan's oil reserves once promised a new beginning after independence in 2011. Oil revenues were meant to build the nation, but conflict soon shattered that dream. Civil war turned oil fields into battlegrounds, crippling production and driving away expertise. As a landlocked country, South Sudan relies on pipelines through Sudan, making it vulnerable to disputes and shutdowns. This dependence on a single export route leaves its economy at the mercy of its neighbor. Aging oil fields and lack of investment threaten future output. The nation's wealth is held captive by conflict, geography, and political fragility. Oil, meant to unite and uplift, has instead deepened divisions. South Sudan's story is a cautionary tale of how resources alone cannot guarantee prosperity. The legacy is one of potential, constrained by circumstance. Civil war left South Sudan's oil industry in ruins. Infrastructure was destroyed, expertise fled, and restarting production is a monumental challenge. Damaged wells and pipelines have caused environmental harm, contaminating land and water. Attracting foreign investment is difficult amid lingering instability and risk. The cycle of conflict has diverted funds from development, leaving communities impoverished. Oil revenues, when they flowed, were often mismanaged, fueling corruption instead of progress. The burden of war and mismanagement weighs heavily on South Sudan's future. Possessing resources is not enough. Peace, stability, and good governance are essential. South Sudan's experience is a stark warning for others on the same path. The nation must rebuild trust and infrastructure to turn oil into a true blessing. Along the Gulf of Aden, Somaliland has built peace and democracy while its neighbors struggled. Its stability is now attracting attention, not just for politics, but for potential oil beneath its soil. Geological surveys suggest similarities to oil-rich Yemen, sparking interest from international companies. Firms like Energy are exploring, hoping for a transformative oil discovery. For Somaliland, oil could mean financial independence and a stronger case for international recognition. The dream is to become the Kuwait of the Horn of Africa. Unlike South Sudan, Somaliland offers investors stability and a strategic coastline. With the port of Berbera, it controls its own export routes. Somaliland is emerging as a promising new player on Africa's energy map. Somaliland's biggest obstacle is its lack of international recognition. Without legal status, it cannot access global financial institutions or sign treaties. This political limbo deters major oil companies who fear legal disputes over contracts. Somalia's central government claims authority over Somaliland's resources, adding to the uncertainty. The result is a catch-22. Somaliland needs oil to gain recognition, but needs recognition to fully develop its oil. Its stability is both an asset and a frustration, safe for exploration, but not for large-scale investment. Overcoming this legal and political puzzle is crucial for Somaliland's energy future. The nation's fate hinges on solving this challenge. South Sudan and Somaliland face different dependencies. South Sudan's is physical. It's landlocked, reliant on Sudan's pipeline, and vulnerable to political disputes. Any disagreement can halt its oil exports, crippling the economy. Somaliland's challenge is political. Its sovereignty is unrecognized, limiting its ability to attract major investment. If recognized, Somaliland could export oil directly from its own port, Berbera, and even serve as a regional hub. South Sudan is constrained by geography, Somaliland by international politics. On the energy chessboard, South Sudan is powerful but limited, always negotiating with neighbors. Somaliland, if it gains recognition, could become a flexible and influential player. Its port could open new routes for landlocked countries like Ethiopia. The contrast is clear. One is blocked by pipelines, the other by paperwork. Both must overcome their unique hurdles to realize their potential. The Horn of Africa's oil story has drawn in global powers. The UAE has invested in Somaliland's Berbera port, seeking a strategic foothold and access to future oil. China is deeply involved in South Sudan's oil industry, prioritizing energy security and stability. The U.S. and Western nations watch for regional stability and secure trade routes. Ethiopia, landlocked and populous, eyes Berbera as a vital alternative to Djibouti. Competing interests create a web of alliances and rivalries, with oil and ports as the main prizes. The region's energy future is shaped as much by foreign ambitions as by local realities. The stakes are high, and every move is watched closely. Both South Sudan and Somaliland face unique challenges and opportunities. South Sudan must rebuild its oil industry, attract investment, and diversify its economy. New exploration could revitalize its fortunes if peace holds. Building alternative pipelines could free it from dependence on Sudan. Somaliland's main challenge is achieving international recognition to unlock large-scale investment. It must balance diplomacy and internal expectations as it pursues statehood. Its strategic location and the Berbera corridor offer opportunities beyond oil. If managed wisely, oil wealth could transform Somaliland into a regional model of stability. Both must learn from past mistakes to ensure oil becomes a blessing, not a curse. The horizon is filled with both risk and promise. The Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads, its future shaped by oil and ambition. South Sudan's struggle is to break free from conflict and dependency, rebuilding its industry and economy. Somaliland's hope lies in stability and recognition, aiming to turn potential into prosperity. The world's decision on Somaliland's status could reshape the region. Global and regional powers add complexity to the competition. The rivalry between South Sudan's established production and Somaliland's promise is about more than oil. It's about the future of millions. The quest for energy is redrawing the map and redefining destinies. Success depends on navigating conflict, politics, and diplomacy. Both lands strive to harness their resources for a better tomorrow. The next moves on this energy chessboard will be decisive. As pipelines are drawn and deals are made, the future of East Africa's oil industry is being written in real time. The choices made today, by governments, investors, and communities, will echo for generations. Will oil become a force for unity and prosperity, funding schools, hospitals, and new industries? Or will it deepen divisions, fueling new rounds of conflict and competition? Innovation and sustainability will be key. With global energy shifting towards renewables, East Africa faces a unique opportunity to leapfrog old models, blending oil development with green technology and local empowerment. Collaboration between nations, transparency in deals, and fair distribution of wealth could unlock a new era for the Horn of Africa. The world is watching. The region's leaders, citizens, and partners must decide: will East Africa's oil be a blessing or a burden? The answer lies in the balance between ambition and responsibility. The next chapter is unwritten, and its outcome will shape the destiny of millions. As East Africa's oil reserves come online, the geopolitical ripples extend far beyond the region's borders. New alliances are being forged as major powers, China, the United States, Russia, and Gulf states, vie for influence, investment opportunities, and strategic partnerships. The Horn of Africa is no longer just a crossroads of trade. It's a pivotal stage in the global contest for energy security. Neighboring countries watch closely, recalibrating their own strategies. Regional organizations like the African Union and IGAD are under pressure to mediate disputes, foster cooperation, and ensure that national interests don't undermine collective stability. Meanwhile, new infrastructure, pipelines, ports, and refineries, creates both opportunities for integration and flashpoints for rivalry. For local communities, the stakes are deeply personal. Border towns become economic hubs or battlegrounds, depending on how resources are shared and managed. The choices made by leaders today will determine whether oil becomes a catalyst for regional unity or a source of fragmentation. As global attention intensifies, East Africa's oil awakening is transforming the region's place in the world. The next moves on this geopolitical chessboard will not only shape the fate of nations, but also set the tone for Africa's role in the 21st century energy landscape. As the dust settles on East Africa's new oil frontier, Somaliland and South Sudan stand at a crossroads. Their vast reserves promise economic transformation, yet the paths ahead are anything but certain. Both face daunting choices between collaboration and conflict, transparency and corruption, prosperity and instability. For Somaliland, international recognition remains elusive, but successful oil development could strengthen its case for sovereignty. Strategic partnerships and careful management may finally bring the global legitimacy it seeks, or if mishandled, deepen its isolation. South Sudan's journey is equally precarious. Oil wealth could rebuild a nation scarred by war, funding roads, schools, and hospitals. But without robust institutions and inclusive governance, the resource curse looms large, threatening renewed internal strife and regional tensions. The future hinges on critical decisions. Will leaders prioritize long-term stability over short-term gains? Can local communities share in the benefits, or will old grievances resurface? And how will external powers shape these destinies? One thing is clear: the world is watching. The stories of Somaliland and South Sudan are still being written, and their next chapters will echo across Africa and beyond. Their choices and the region's response will decide whether oil becomes a bridge to a brighter future or a fault line dividing nations.